Surprise! No, not really. Spurs as usual. We're going to do the reaction show. Tottenham Hotspur 1, Brentford 3 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Last game Spurs played. But before we get into it, let's get the intro done and then bring in the guests. It's the reaction show. Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life, and welcome to the reaction show. I'm going to just get on with it. You know what to do. Smash the like, put your comments in, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to add these two into the stream. Here we go. Welcome, Pav. Welcome, Sid. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3 in a game of two halves, as they say. A game of two halves. Someone's got something good about going. I might need to turn it off because I can hear myself in double. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, last game of the season, you'd expect these guys to go out with a bit of a fight. They seem like they wanted to give us a performance as they should do. They owe us this. We scored a first goal, and as per usual, we just can't take our chances. It's been the Achilles heel all season as well. Not say all season. The Achilles heel has been the defending. That's what's killed us. We scored a lot of goals, but we don't seem to be able to capitalize on first halves. We never seem to go in comfortable 2-3s ahead. It's always the same case. Pav, I know you said you didn't see all the game. Pav, did you watch all that game? What's your thoughts on that? And just give your overview of where Spurs are following the last home game and what can only be described as a season that needs to end now, really.
I don't have any words for that game, to be honest, because it's just a completely two different halves. Like, the first half, I was like, oh my God, wow, like the way we're playing, why have we not been playing this whole season? And then completely different second half. Like, I don't know what the hell happened, but it's just the same old Spurs, isn't it? And to lose 3-1 against Brentford at home, our last home game where us fans deserved a win, it's just shocking, it is. And all these people that, are saying, have Ryan Mason in as our permanent manager, I just don't see it at this point. I don't. And do you know what? It's not even only his fault, because at least he tried to change it up for the last game. It's the players' fault. It's Levy's fault. It's just shocking, it is.
Yeah, this has been. I think when me and Sid did the preview show the other day, I was saying it just depends on who turns up, who turns out. I said if Brentford decide they want to go for it, they'll put us under a lot of pressure and they'll cause us problems. They had Ivan Toney, their best player out, their top goal scorer, and you would have thought that may have meant, oh, you know what, we can't be asked to really push it. He's our best player. We've only got 2 games left. Let's just kind of, 3 games at the time, 2 games left now. 1 game left. Oh my gosh, have we only got 1 game left? That's it, isn't it?
Next week.
I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at this thing and it hadn't quite updated. But yeah, I'll put the table up in a minute. But 1 game left for us. Same for them. And you would have thought that, they might have been on easy street. Nothing really to play for. But as we talked about, we said in the reaction show, preview show, Sid, let's not talk about the previous games against Brentford. Let's not touch on the previous games against Brentford, not having won against us at our place, not having won against us in the Premier League, even though they've only played them 3 times. And this is what happens. Again, I'm not going to excuse Ryan Mason because, he has to take some responsibility. He said he's ready. But some of the people that were playing in that second half that should not have been playing at that time, we had, who was it in that midfield? Skip and Basuma. Now, when they're playing with the 2 at the back, it looks comfortable. It looks okay. The front 4, if you want to call it, were very fluid, very dynamic. But the quality, only Harry Kane turned up again. Only Harry Kane. Son had opportunities, didn't take them. Danjuma, can't really blame him too much. Kulusevski just looks a shadow of the player he once was, although he played okay in that first. Okay. But Sid, what are we going to... all this talk about this new manager, and I've said many times, it doesn't matter who comes in at this moment in time. Fundamentally, there's got to be a lot of changes at this club. But just on that game itself, did you see any sort of real desire from anybody in that second half to win the game? Did you see anything from Ryan Mason to think that there's an opportunity for him if he was to change some things? Or are you just thinking it's a shower of shite, as I did?
He's just getting his reps up, isn't he, to try and get a job. He knows he's not going to get the Spurs job, and I think we discussed this on Talking Points. He's probably better off going somewhere else and start from the bottom, although probably Spurs are at the bottom at the moment, and work his way up, kind of thing. He knows he's not going to get the job. In terms of performances, apparently first half was quite decent, and then second half was same old. We've done the reverse, haven't we? We've played really well first half, not taken advantage, and then second half not turned up. I think they were scared of the final whistle, knowing what was going to happen with the fans and stuff like that, and they probably didn't want to do the walk or whatever, so they were scared and not turn up second half. I did say to you yesterday, didn't I, that Brentford have got nothing to play for, but they have, because if they win the final 2 games, it was a must-win game for them yesterday, and I said that to you, didn't I? It's a must-win game for them to catch us up, and they've beaten us
Convincingly.
Yeah, and I also said Ivan Toney's not playing for them, but watch out for Mbeumo, didn't I? Didn't I not say to you yesterday, watch out for him? And there you go. Even their star strikers not playing yet. They've got people that turn up, players that want to play for the team as a team. Whereas we've got, I'm sure they just go into there, put their names in a hat or in one of them big dustbins, put the shirts in there, and whichever shirt pulls out is starting 11. Because none of them lot, I mean, Lucas Moura coming on. I said to you, what did I say to you yesterday, Sam? Is he going to play him for sentimental values just to give him a bit of a game time for his final home game of the season? He done that.
And this is what I'm talking about when I said to you about he has to take responsibility as well, does Mason? Because what he was doing in a game where you're trying to prove yourself, and you bring him on to give him vibes and give him a round of applause because it's a sunny day and it's sun shining, and you bring him. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Yeah, so, and we both said yesterday, didn't we? Depends on what Spurs turns up. Are they going to turn up and put a show on for the fans? And they did, but it was a shit show. And I can't wait till next week now, because you know what? And I said this, and Big Sam said it in his interview when they interviewed him. He said, we want to stay up, right? We've got, as long as we're in it in the final game of the season to stay up, we've got Spurs. He said, I'm happy with that. And if I'm a Leeds fan, I'm praying that they win today. We win today, Leeds, and they got Spurs next week. Because I'm telling you now, we might as well not just turn up and give them the 3 points there next week.
We're rolling over next. Like I said to you before, football for me, examples are clear. I said this before. If the players were going to turn up and they were going to play their hearts out, they would have done this before today. They would have done this 5, 6, 7, 8 games ago. Conte may still be in a job had they given the heart at certain games, because he said there was that game where he just said these players, they're not good enough. So if they were ever going to be turning up, it would have been a month ago, 6 weeks ago. I knew if they didn't turn up today, regardless of what setup Ryan Mason did, whether he set up as a 4, whether he set up as a 5 now, when we get to the team selection, we'll have a look and we'll see. So there must be injuries there. I don't know what happened with Romero today. What Sanchez starting again. He's been booed off, having been brought on as a sub for 10 minutes and been taken off this pitch. I never thought we'd see him play in the shirt again, but yet he's played a few times since that particular moment that he had with us. Danjuma's starting the game. Why are you starting him in the last game of the season at home? He's been on loan with us for so long. You're going to start him now. To prove what? What's he got to prove? Is he coming to Spurs? I don't think so.
Does he want to come to Spurs?
Does he want to come to Spurs? So what's he got to prove? Richarlison's got something to prove, I would imagine. Son definitely's got something to prove. Kulusevski, even though we don't know what's to do with his deal. But Danjuma, who's probably been at the club and wondering to himself, why didn't I not go to Everton? At least I would have been in a fight, and at least I would have had some players who wants to at least win games of football, even though they're shocking and they probably might not necessarily. I'm not saying anything about the relegations, but do you know what I'm saying? He could have been playing there, helping them out. He's come here, he's warmed the bench. He's warmed the bench since January, and yet it's sunny day. Let's give him a run out. Sid, tell me about this team selection before I bring the slides up, because I just can't get over it. I can't.
I think it's the defensive wise. I think he had no choice. Romero must be injured, but then he's not even put Dyer in to replace him, and he's gone straight for Sanchez. I don't know. It's a weird one, but midfield. I did say to you yesterday, didn't I, that it'd be Skip and Basuma.
Yep.
And it was Skip and Basuma. Kulusevski is just completely lost form. He's just, disappeared. And I don't understand why Mason would start him. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's in his contract that we've got to play him one last time, just in case someone else is looking and he has a good game and they put a bid in. Maybe Juventus have said that. I've seen one bit of Son going from one edge of the box to the other, going across the lines. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was singing White Lines and going across all the way across White Lines. I don't know whether he was doing that or not. But first off, apparently we've done quite well, and we should have wrapped the game up. We've had a good few chances. So I don't know what's happened in that second half.
I'm going to ask Pav. Pav, what did you think of that? I know you kind of touched on it, but I'm going to say my bit. I know Ryan Mason is technically okay because he's recently done his badges. He's new to coaching, so he's got all the new philosophies. He's got all the new coaching manuscripts. He's got everything there fresh off there. He's been on the training ground. He knows he's played. So I don't expect anything less than him being able to set this team up, given that he's had a week to prepare the team. I don't care if you're going from a back three to a back four. You've got a week. I've been a coach. I know what coaching is about, and I can change the team around in less than a week, regardless, because they're not bloody pub men. There's professional footballers, so they can adapt. They can change how they play. They can change systems and be adaptable to it. So going from a back three to back forward, that's no excuse for me. What you need to have is players with heart, because what they did is they played a 4 and they played a 2 and then they played that 3 and a 1. But yet, doesn't seem to have any defensive solidity in that second half. But first half, going back to that, did you think that, he'd made the right team selection in terms of the choices of personnel on the pitch?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I looked at the lineup and I was like, okay, why is this happening now on our last home game? Why now? And then obviously they were playing their first half and I was like, yeah, okay, we're playing decent. We're not losing the ball. We're attacking. We're creating so many chances. Obviously, Kane got that goal. But then why in the second half did we just completely switch up? I just don't understand. I said this to my sister as well. I was like, we're gonna F it up in the second half. I just know it. And what do? We effed it up. We messed it up. Why? I don't know. I don't know why at all. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know what was said in that dressing room. But, seeing Danjuma on the pitch and Basuma on the pitch as well, and Son creating chances, it was a decent first half. I'll give Ryan Mason that. But why second half completely different? Doesn't make sense.
No, because I don't remember any changes at half time. So nothing changed from that perspective. You're right. What I think changed is the mentality of the players again.
Yeah, but it's like as if they've said, oh, we've got a goal now. Kane's got a goal. We're going to win this. It's fine. Let's just sit back. Let Brentford do everything they can and just sit back. But why do we keep doing this? Because we're doing this. It's not only this game. We've done it so many times, and that's what's effed us up. We've messed up there.
But Pav, if you're 1-0 up, and you come out like that second half, you're not Manchester City. You're not Newcastle United, where you can defend one goal. We can't. We're conceding 2 average per game. So why would you sit back? We need to
Listen.
score like 12 to win a game without conceding.
The stats here should be able to tell a picture again with this. Go into the screen, people, for those you can't actually see. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3 in the score as the scoreline today. Tottenham possession-wise, 62% to their 38%. Clear as day what they were doing. They didn't have anything other than let's try and defend, and they were defending quite high, which is again should have played more times, which he did in the first half because he was getting opportunities, didn't take her chances. But again, they weren't looking to control the game from possession-wise. Here we go. These are the stats that will tell you what's going on in this game. Shots 22 to us, 11 to them. Now, a lot of those probably desperation in the second half. We're trying to get it, but a lot of them were in the first half as well. 8 on target. We scored 1 goal. Today, we didn't capitalize on our finishing. They had 4 shots on target and scored 3 goals. There you go, people. We can't defend. You cannot defend. You know, I saw the goals that went in today. Forster, yes, you're going to be culpable for it because he looked like, I think you said it before, Sid, he goes down in stages. He goes down like Optimus Prime. Do you know what I mean? He's breaking down like a bloody transformer here. So he could have got down quicker for that one. But there was no blocking. I saw Longley kind of like almost turn, but kind of going like, he didn't go in full-blooded. Ben Davies gets there a fraction of a second too late. This defence are not good enough. So, yes, it's great to see a back 4, but that was always going to be an issue. If you don't have players that want to defend and want to play the game at a high level with intensity, you're going to get that, regardless of what system you're playing. 8 corners to their 2, 11 fouls to 9. Pav, it looks like a game where we were dominating. It looks like if you took the scoreline out of it, it looks like a game that we were dominating from the stats alone, that we clearly, comfortably should have won. 22 shots, 8 on target. But them stats didn't reflect the scoreline. What's going on?
Most of them probably came from the first half. Second half, we dropped. First half, we were dominating big time. Second half, we let Brentford take control. And we were trying to get the ball back, trying to attempt. But every single time they'd, get hold of the ball, we'd just sit back and be like, okay, whatever. Our defence is crap. I'm going to say it's crap. It's rubbish. Our defence lets us down. And that's what let us down in the second half. And for us to just sit back and say, yeah, whatever, we'll be able to do this. It's fine. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. And look how many shots on target. We got 8. Shots 22. That's how many times we tried in comparison to them, which is 11 shots they've got and 4 on target.
A good sort of ratio when I used to look at the stats, I used to do a lot of stat stuff when I was doing grassroots and semi-pro sort of stuff. We used to look at the amount of shots you can get, the amount of shots on target, how many entries into the final third, blah, blah, blah. So you look at that and look at the stats, and there was a correlation. The more shots you get on target, and it's an easy one for people, the more likely are you like to score, the more goals you're going to get. Clear.
Exactly.
50% ratio is what you was working out with most of the time over a long period. So we should have scored about 4 goals today. 8 shots on target, 4 goals. That's how I kind of work it out. They've had 4 shots on target and scored 3. It really is a minefield. But as I said, Sid, looking at them again now, you like to ask me this question. What does that tell you about this Tottenham team? You're on mute.
It tells you that they are firing blanks, man. 4 shots on target and you score 3. We've had 8 on target. We scored 1. So that just proves what we've known, that we are shocking. You cannot keep a clean sheet with that defense that we've got. And no matter who he plays, they just cannot keep a clean sheet. So we have, like that first half, we've probably had to go in 3-0 up or something to try and then salvage 3 points. I know it sounds harsh, but it is what it is, because you can't trust Spurs and that defensively. They cannot be trusted at all. So makes no difference to me, mate. Honestly, I'm so glad we've only got one more game left, and it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, I felt, you know what? The fans disappeared, didn't they? And they got booed off. And there's supposed to be a women's game straight after the game now. So can you imagine people that probably did want to stay? They're probably that pissed off. They've gone. And it's going to affect the women's game.
What were they thinking with that? I could only see that bit. What were they thinking when they made that decision? It's not like we were really challenging for anything anyway when they made that decision. We'd seen the level of play that we've seen at our ground all season. We've all said this. All season we've seen the quality of football hasn't been great. At times, we've managed to get results. So to put the last game of the season, expecting us to be, because we're playing for something, it was only going to be a full either way. Either we get a result and plans of, it's okay, and stay just to kind of support the women, or we have what we had today. And it's like the additional stuff that we're dealing with off the field, it's all going to start blaring out. And these women, it's not fair on them to have fans who are not really, saying that they might be more committed. They might have actually come to watch the women's game. That's maybe what they've done. They maybe come to watch the women's game and just, taking this game is a free one. Just madness. Looking at the table, Man City top, Arsenal second, Newcastle United third, Manchester United fourth. Let's forget that. Liverpool fifth. They should be in there, and I think they will probably make that. We are 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, possibly down to 10th now. So we could go anywhere between 6th and 10th. Sid, where do you think we'll end up?
So, where are we now? We are 7th. Aston Villa, I think, just got a penalty. I don't know where. Okay, they missed it. So, okay. Right, 57. So if Brentford win the last game, they go on 59. I think we're gonna. I honestly think we're gonna finish 9th.
Yeah, because Brentford, I don't know who Brentford played on the last day of the season, but even if they was to get a draw, and let's say, and I'm going to probably say the inevitable that I don't think these players are going to turn up. If they didn't turn up today, why are they going to turn up to Leeds, where Leeds have got to win something because they want to stay in the league? If that's the case, come their game next week. So I don't see us winning that game, possibly a draw. But let's say we lose it, and Brentford get a draw, they go above us. I'm looking at Fulham here.
I'm just about to say, Sam, I'm going to go as far as saying Fulham win the last 2 games, they finish above us. We end up 10th.
I'm looking at Fulham here, and I'm thinking that they put 6 points on top of that. Their goal difference is going to be better than ours because they would have won those games, so their goal difference would have to be better than ours. And if we lose the next game anyway, our goal difference would go down by at least 1 anyway. They're going to be above us, people.
Yeah.
Aston Villa, I think they're playing well enough to be and probably deserve to be above us. So let's say they get a draw today. Even if they don't win today, they will go above us today. It's not looking good because Brighton, I don't see Brighton falling much. They've got 3 games to play. They've got 3 games to play. They're not going to lose all 3 of them games. No chance. So we're looking as scratching around in this area where I said this is where we're going to end up after all the debacle that we've had. Going from winning the league to this. But we can't really take away too much from this now because I want to see what happens over the next few weeks. I want to see whether they appoint this manager before June, before the 31st of May, when all the ticket season holders have got to get their ticket seasons before the new season starts. And you know what? 2019, when they did all that debacle, this manager's coming. 9 managers, whatever it was that we went through to get Nuno. I'm hearing this Arne Slot's almost done. Can you really think it's done? Can you honestly say it's almost done? Why is it almost done? Why was Nagelsmann almost done, but then he hadn't even talked to him? Sid, can you enlighten me on that? And then
I've heard
we'll
it's 70% done. That's what I've heard. Now,
what does that mean?
It means nothing at all, as Bros said. I don't know, honestly. It is basically, you know what? I'm hearing they want to appoint a DOF first before they get the manager, and now the manager's 70% done. So honestly, I don't know. Pav, please take it away.
Pav,
I don't know at
Yeah.
this point because, like you said, Nagelsmann was nearly done, and now what? Slot's nearly done. I don't believe anything in the media at this point.
No.
I feel like half of the things they come out with is like utter bullshit. Next minute, you know, they're going to say that we've hijacked Chelsea
let me
and
stop
brought
before you
Poch
go
back.
on. Let me just stop before you go because I want to add this as a bit of context so we can understand. They want to get a director of football in to appoint the manager, to appoint all the rest of the footballing people. But yet the manager is 70% done. That's more than halfway, is it not? By my maths?
It doesn't make sense.
So it don't make sense from there.
No.
Sorry,
Exactly. They're just coming up with ball.
Are you guys ready for something?
Go on, mate.
Are you sure?
Go on.
Right, can you just take Pablo's comment off, please?
Okay, there we go.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Tottenham Hotspur have had £100 million bid for Harry Kane from Chelsea. Daniel Levy knows about it, but it has been kept very, very quiet until the final game of the season. £100 million bid has been made by Chelsea.
Official.
And Harry Kane will probably be
Is
saying,
it official though? Where are you getting this from?
Sorry?
Where are you getting this from?
It's a very, very, very reliable source.
No, see, I thought you were going to say.
Do you know what? At this point, I just don't. It's going to be typical of Poch, isn't it?
It is very, very reliable source. It's been made, and it hasn't been made in the last couple of days. It has been made. Daniel Levy knows about it, but he's keeping stump about it until the end of the season. So that breaking news.
I like that. I like the breaking news. But it's got to be official. When you can't do that, because people are going to start saying, "Oh, Sid, you're going to be one of them Twitter IP, whatever they call them."
This is why I don't believe anything.
It's not HP or Heinz. It is. I'm telling you now. It is a massive, massive source. Let's put it this way.
So don't be one of them ITKs. Don't do it to yourself.
Deals have to go through this section of football for it to be, you know what I mean? So it is 100%. I can tell you that now.
Jeez, well, people, it's not come from me, but it's come from Paxton Road PRTV. And we've got our very own Sid Says, our Sid. He's a transfer guru. He knows. He's in the ITK crew. I ain't saying nothing, but it wouldn't surprise me. But what will surprise me is if they allow him to go to Chelsea. I told you, we cannot. 100 million is not enough. It sounds silly to say, but it is not enough. Harry Kane has scored in 25 of 37 games in the Premier League. Listen to what I just said. 25 out of the 37 games that he's played, he's scored. Do you know? And sometimes he's obviously scored more than one in them games because his stats have gone.
It's been made. A bid has been made. That's all. That's it. Now, whether he accepts it or not, I don't know if he has or not. But the bid has been made, and 100 million has been put on the table for Harry Kane.
If their man's are bidding and making 100 million signings for like people like Mudrik or whatever his name was, who's sitting there, they're gonna have to pay more than 100 mil.
No,
I know he's only got a year left, but what it means to us, if Kane goes this year, take off them 30 goals that he's already got this season, just take them away. They're not being replaced. You might get 10 of them goals replaced. You're not going to get, no matter what player you bring in, no matter how many players you bring in, you're not going to get that level of output because we can see a collective. It doesn't happen. We've got Richarlison, we've got Son, we've got Kulusevski, we've got Danjuma. The collective didn't get what Kane's got. So I don't care who you bring in. It's not going to be what Kane does. They've got to settle in all the rest of it.
So, you know what? Chelsea will be laughing if he doesn't get accepted. Obviously, Levy's not gonna accept it, but he'll probably want more. But then you've got that dilemma, right? Yeah. Do you take the 100 now, or you take losing for nothing in the summer?
the 100 million is not going back into the team. 100
It's
million.
not. He's running, mate. He's doing a Forrest Gump with 100 million. He's going to run, and he's going to run away from that club because he knows he's going to be one of the most wanted men in the world if Daniel Levy accepts that, especially from Chelsea. He might as well go Arsenal.
If anybody, if that deal gets done before we get anybody else in, they all know you've got 100 million pounds to spend, Tottenham. But we've also got the case of we're not in the top 4, we're not in the top 6, we're likely to be outside of Europe. To get that level of player to come into us, to do what Harry Kane's done is nowhere near to be found. You're looking to get a young player with real talent, or you're looking to do what Liverpool done and spread it across the front three, like having a Salah, a Diaz, whatever, to Jota, what's his name as well that's coming. They've got about 4 or 5 strikers or forward players, shall I say. They had Mane in there, they had Bobby Firmino. So they've tried to spread it across. And yes, Salah comes up with the goals most of the time. And Salah has been top goal scorer and scored a lot of goals for Liverpool, but there's others in there that chip in quite rapidly, or readily, should I say. Son was that guy for us, but I don't see him doing it at Spurs anymore. I think he's done. I'm going to say that I think he's done it. Not necessarily done at Spurs, but I think he's done at that level to see what we've got from Spurs. He's not quite a Lucas Moura, but he's heading that way if he's not careful. The league table, it's not the league table. Apologies for that, people. It's actually the team from today. The team in goal, Forster, Emerson Rule, right back, Davinson Sanchez, Longley made it the centre-back pairing, Davis, Dan Juma on the right, Bazuma, Skip in the middle. I think that was supposed to be a 4-2-3-1 because Kulusevski actually played as a number 10, although he was very fluid. Yeah, there you go. Kulusevski and Kane as well as Son. Pav, let's move on quickly. That team, good enough to win the game today?
No. First half, I would have said yes. Second half, no. Don't know what the hell happened. That's my answer. Short and sweet. No.
Okay. Sid, when you saw the team, did you think, yeah, this is going to go and win today comfortably? What did you think?
We discussed this yesterday, didn't we, about the team, who to play, who's going to play. It doesn't make a difference when you've got a defense that just leaks goals for fun. Yeah, Thomas probably not going to come out to fix any leaks in that bloody defense. Then you got a problem. Midfield, we sort of said, Dan Schumer, does he play in his final game of the season? Again, it happened. We did say that Basuma will probably start. It did. But that first half performance was decent. So I don't understand what's happened second half. It's a mystery. Austin Powers needs to be involved now because it's an international mystery what's going on with this bloody club. It
might be, and I say this a bit tongue-in-cheek. I don't say this to have any disrespect for Brian Mason because I think he could probably go on to be a decent manager. But it's probably a good thing that we didn't play like that in the second half and win the game comfortably. Because you know what would happen then, don't you? It's quite clear to me. Oh, right, maybe if we don't get the right man in, they start putting them things out, them feelers out into the press. Their presses, the PR at Spurs are fantastic because they'll start getting all the stuff that's happened about Nagelsmann. That's all been Spurs. They've released certain things out into the press to get all this stories and rumors going because then it builds into a narrative. The narrative I'm seeing is, well, we tried for this guy. No, you didn't actually try for. Well, it was immediate made up a story. So they can make all these sort of like things happen. It's just bluster. But with this now, if Ryan Mason had done really well, the fans might just thought, oh, well, we can't get on slot. Nagelsmann, at least he loves the club. At least the players are playing for him. And then we start to get that narrative that Ryan Mason could be okay for Spurs for the short term. No, he can't be. He can't be considered for this job at all. But I really do think he's being seriously considered for the job.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say was, the thing is, I just don't think he has enough experience. He needs to be managing a championship team before he's even considered for Spurs. He doesn't have that experience. He's only just come and managed us for a couple of games this season and whenever he was last time. He's not experienced enough. He needs that experience. So I don't understand why he's even being considered.
Easy though, easy. It's like you said, Sam, isn't it? Is the media department spinning a yarn by saying we've been we're looking at him. Is he actually in that list? I don't think he is. I think it's just the media and our PR people putting it in there in the mix. I don't think he's been considered. You would be absolutely stupid. Daniel Levy knows the shit show he's been putting on at Spurs for the last couple of years. And then you go and get rid of Mourinho, get rid of Conte, right? And you bring in Ryan Mason.
Yeah.
He would have to hide. Trust me. But Liam Neeson said no matter where he hides, they'll find him. So
but is that I'll ask you lot this. Is it going to be any better? And I keep saying this, the manager that I think, or managers that we're looking at, are not the Arne Slots, they're not the Nagelsmann, they're the Brendan Foster. Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Foster is a very old time man. That shows my age. Brendan Rodgers, Graham Potter. I put Ryan Mason in there because he's in the club, he's part of the club, he loves the club. And people say, I'm not saying because he loves the club, he's going to make a good manager. It's because he's got affinity with the club. He knows it inside out. The players are responding to a degree. He knows how things work. He knows about Daniel Levy. He knows what to expect. So he's under no illusions. He's not going to get 150 million. So he's not going to start moaning about it. So this is what I'm saying. It's very set. So they're putting things out into the media. And if we start taking little bites, we start going at the chum. The fans they're actually okay with him. Let's now wind it up in the media a little bit more. If the fans start, no, he's not, then no, we never really considered Ryan Mason in the first place. We're going to go for this foreign manager. Who's coming into the club? Pav, who's coming in? Tell me a name.
But this is why I don't believe anything that's been said in the media, because they twist shit so much. They come up, they find every single possible name and twist it and link it with us. There's been Brendan Rodgers, there's been Graham Potter, there's been Nagelsmann, there's been Poch, now Mason, Slot, Enrique. God knows who. You're linking every single name with us. Now I feel like we're gonna get the likes of like Rodgers or Potter.
Potter's not coming. Potter's gone. Apparently, Potter's going to Nice.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. But like
Nice for him.
Us being linked with these. This is why I don't believe anything in the media, and I feel like Levy saying, I want to bring in a manager that's with our ethos and believes in what we believe in, etc., etc. No, you want to bring in a manager who just who will take shit. He won't fight for it. He will just be like, yeah, whatever, do what you want and leave it in the hands of Levy. But that's not what we need. We need a manager that's going to be able to rebuild and fight and say, what, these players are shit, we need to get rid of them and bring in some new ones. But that's not what we're going to get in reality. It's not like, what manager is going to come to us now that we're probably not going to even be in Europe, we're not in the Champions League, we're in the position that we are, and we're completely corrupt.
And if this rumour was right that Sidsport, Dino's made a very good point. Without Harry Kane there, what manager is going to come with after all that you've just said, Pat, and no Harry Kane? And possibly a few players that decided, you know what, I don't really want to play here no more, like Son. Go on, Sid.
It's not a rumour. It's fact. It's not a rumour. It is fact. It's 100% fact, right? And also, Gerard Butler needs to get on making London Has Fallen a sequel or a prequel. Levy Has Fallen, because it has to happen and he has to star in it. Yeah, that's the only way we're going to get Levy out of the club. If he does Tottenham and Daniel Levy Has Fallen. Tottenham have fallen, so it's a matter of time now Levy has fallen. But no, this Kane thing is 100%.
Yeah, people have maybe don't know my stance or do know my stance. I said, after all that's happened, it looked as if Daniel was trying to rectify mistakes from the past. The appointment of Jose, I know that didn't work out well. Then obviously we had the Nuno saga. Then, we got back into it with Conte again. So we were trying to say, right, mistakes have happened. Director of footballs have been left. Paratici's coming and gone. Blah, blah. Lots and lots of things have happened at this club. But I kind of thought, right, the signing of Conte kind of showed, right, at least we mean business again. If you're going to get Conte in, once he said no in August, but then came into us in November, it means that they're going to give this guy money, because we know that Conte only does what he does if he's given the players that he wants and he has some sort of degree of control. It ended up, as we've seen, because it was never going to work if you don't give Conte what he wants. And from that point, I said, no, Daniel Levy, has to go. As a face of Munich, he's got to go, because no matter who you bring in from this point, they cannot be as organised and as successful as two of the best managers in world football we've had at this club. One of which we sacked on the eve of a cup final, who's then gone on to win another cup since then and is in another final now to win another cup. Do you know what I'm saying? Serial winners. So if you're going to get serial winners in, you have to give them what they want. Poch will come in for Sanchez. You know that one Poch said will be the best centre-halves in the country. Sanchez is the best centre-half in the country. First half was decent. We scored from a set piece. We were lucky. 22 shots and 1 goal is rubbish. Exactly that. Media never criticised Levy. Why? Because I think he's got a lot of people in the press that he's connected. He's connected, I think. Media praises D. Levy. You must all be very sick of it. Plus, fan base likes being milked like a cow from Levy. RIP THFC. A lot of people have been saying RIP THFC for a long time. You don't want Sheikh owner, so happy. Okay, so it doesn't want Sheikh owner. I feel bad for you lot of Tots fans. Yeah, maybe use some capitals and some commas in there because I couldn't read that. Sorry, my eyesight as well. Levy out. Sid in. Sid in with that ITK there. Sid's like, he's staked 100% on that, people. That's all I can say. 100%. I'm not saying that.
The thing is, it doesn't matter. It's a bid has been lodged. Now that's now down to Daniel Levy, isn't it? So whether it's going to come out or not, we'll never know. But the fact is, it has been made. It's down to him now to accept it or decline it, and we will never know unless he decides to accept it. But if it doesn't, we will never know. But you know what? It is what it is, unfortunately.
Last thing before we go there, this and we're not even about the game, so I don't want to talk about that game anymore because it's time. We've got much more important things to consider during the summer. Manager will be one of them, but I'm not going to touch on that. What I want to ask is, Pav, would you take the 100 million and sell Harry Kane this summer?
No, if I was the owners, no. But as a fan, I feel sorry for him for being in the position that he is, because he deserves so much more. You can just see how upset he is, and I know that he wants to win trophies, especially with us as well. But it feels like as if we're holding him back from achieving that. But if we let him go, we're just going to be one of those teams that we're probably going to end up fighting for relegation at this point if he goes. So
look at Leicester.
Yeah.
Sid?
Listen, all I'm going to say is I want him to stay at the club purely because I want him to see his contract out, and to Daniel Levy go on a free next year. Because he's done everything in his powers. Man scored 28 goals already in the Premier this season, behind Haaland, but nothing's been said about it because he's playing for Tottenham, right? He's given everything. Levy's not backed him at all. All these promises. So if 100 million bid has been made, then if he accepts it, fair enough. If he doesn't, I hope Kane stays for the season and then goes on a free next summer and just turns around and just puts the fingers up to Daniel Levy and said, you know what, mate, you could look what you could have won, kind of thing, and go walk away with free and do a Craig David and walk away with no troubles in his mind. I tell you that now.
There's no easy answer to this one. People are making some good points. Canners, I know Canners very well. Canners saying you have to take it, move on from him. That's what's holding you back. Okay, you could take 100 million. Then you're actually then putting the pressure on the board to say, we want that 100 million to go into a player of equal stature for Kane. It's not going to happen. There's not that many Harry Kanes out there in world football anyway.
No.
What Harry Kane is going to come to Spurs who don't have the football to play? You're not going to get an Erling Haaland into Spurs if you finish 8th this season. So whatever you do next season doesn't matter because you're not in Europe. So my point, this is my thoughts on it now. Harry Kane wants to beat Alan Shearer's record. He clearly wants to beat it. I'm saying to Harry Kane, we're not selling you, mate. But I know in my mind, I know you want to break that record. So you're not going to down tools this season because that's one season out of the game where you could not potentially get another 20-odd goals. So he's going to play regardless. We just got to make sure we get enough players around him that we can help him get them goals. We're going to be mid-table. Accept that. After that, let him walk on a free. In the meantime, you do everything in your scouting network to make sure you know what you're going to bring in a year's time, not in 3 months' time. We ain't got enough time to do that. In a year's time, because we know he's going. That's what I would do, and that's my plan.
But Sam, that right, I hear what you're saying. That 100 million, right? You can't replace Harry Kane for 100 million. I totally agree with you. However, and hear me out on this one. We've just spent over 50 million on Richarlison, right? He's not been given a goal. What you then do, for example, with that 100 million, is you're going to get James Maddison, you're going to get Ollie Watkins. That's 2 players now you've got for that 100 million. Then you can play Watkins and Richarlison as a front two and Maddison as the supplier that everyone's craving for this season. That potentially could work as well. You keep Richarlison as a number 9, yeah, what he does for Brazil. You bring in Watkins or somebody of that statute. You bring in a playmaker like Maddison or someone equivalent. It can work. You won't get 28 goals. However, between the two of them and with his supply, you could end up getting maybe 30 or 40 between the two of them. And that could work.
I had my hands up for a reason. I forgot to add on to the point. Our Achilles heel isn't scoring goals. It's defense.
I know.
So if you get 100 million for Harry Kane, you have to sort your defense out.
Oh, yeah,
you have to sort your defense out.
Yes.
We are not going to spend 200 million pounds of this summer on any players. We're not going to spend that much money. So firstly, if you get 100 million for Harry Kane, you got to spend it on your defense. We haven't got a goalkeeper yet. Hugo Lloris is done. Goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, left back, potentially another right back because Porro's a wing back if you're playing a back 4. That's 100 million easy.
Yeah.
Then you're expecting another 100 million to get your strike force in the next 3 months, having to rebuild that, having to get a new manager. It's craziness from Tottenham Hotspur if they're going to do that this summer. Craziness. We would explode. We could end up doing a Leicester. We might not. We probably, but we would not be top half. Plan people at Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane's going free next year. Make him stay this year. He won't drop his levels because he wants to beat Alan Shearer. Psychology. Make sure you have a succession plan in place, whether that's young players, whatever it is. Sort your defense out this summer. Get the right manager in place that knows the philosophy, that knows the club well enough that he's going to do well, that he's not bothered about being in the Champions League. We don't want mercenaries. Possibly Ryan Mason could be the number 2 and build him. But to do all that in one summer will be fucked.
It's not done in 20 years, Sam. How's he going to do it in one?
Oh dear. 19 other teams don't have a Kane. Work on what is needed to go to one decent stroke, a CM and a CD. I've just explained that, Canners, in my opinion, why that I think it won't work for us. Maybe for Arsenal it's different because I've seen what you guys did. You kept out Aubameyang, you brought in all your youngsters, but you trusted them. Remember, you did come 8th and then you built up to 5th. And then so please accept my little point. I know we're not going to be top, but it's going to take us years. But Harry Kane is not going to be replaced very soon. And it's certainly not going to be replaced in the summertime. I'm not saying Harry Kane doesn't need to be replaced, but plan it. That's all I'm saying. Plan it. Don't take 100 million and just fucking waste it because we've got so much shit to sort out anyway. 30 or 40 goals, but we will let in 50. That's my point, Mr. K. We have other things that we need fixing, much, much bigger things to fix. Even fucking got a director of football. We've got no director of football. We've got no
direction. Forget football. We've got no direction.
We've got no number 1 goalkeeper because our goalkeeper decided at half-time in the Newcastle game he's not coming out. He don't want to be embarrassed anymore. But he's embarrassed himself. Our centre-backs don't know whether they can play in a 3 or a 4 or 2, sorry, I say 2 or 3. Our wing-backs that we've bought are now possibly going to have to be full-backs because we're playing a back 4. It's all a fucking mess, people. If it's all a mess, how's it going to be fixed in the summertime? It's too much. That's what I'm saying. I'm tired. Pav, final thoughts. Final thoughts, Pav.
This season's void. It's over. It's over. I just don't want any Europe. Finish 9th or 10th and get in a manager that can rebuild our bloody club, because we're just a lost bunch. We need to do some serious business in the summer. But do you know what? Positive hat aside, this business in the summer, we all know that it's not going to be what we want it to be. We're going to buy players that we don't even flipping need, and it's going to be a cycle over and over again, and it's going to be another season of chaos.
I like that you changed your name as well. You put the S on front. That's cool, man. You have to do that because that PVP has long gone, way gone. Sid, final thoughts, mate.
Listen, the only Europe we can think of is the band Europe, and they've already sang about us, the final countdown, because it's happened and it's happening now. It's the final countdown for Spurs and Daniel Levy and Harry Kane and Hugo Lloris, Lucas Moura, everyone. It's final countdown. That's my final thoughts.
Yeah, it's a long summer. We've got, thankfully, and I say thankfully, we've got one more game left. We've got one more. We've got one more preview show to do, and one more reaction show, and we'll have some talk. We'll do talking points throughout the summer. Don't worry about that. We'll have. So, do we want to do all this transfer rumor stuff? Because I guess because we're gonna have a lot of transfer rumors and we're gonna have a lot to talk about. So I guess we'll have a lot to talk about. So people, listen up. We're going to be continuing over the summertime because there's changes coming for next season. PRTV, as you know, we've been talking about it. We're going to be just changing a few things. Look out for that. Same sort of content. Don't worry about that. It's on YouTube still. Might be getting elsewhere because YouTube are what they are. But yeah, we just got a few things happening. But we'll let you know. Any more comments before we go? Daniel Levy, sell the club, FFS. I don't know.
There you go. Not FFP, not financial fair play.
Time to go. We've been on there 52 minutes and it's been a bit of a rant fest, but hey, we ain't got much more ranting to do. I thought we all ranted out, but you know what? Spurs can do it to you. I said yesterday when we looked at them stats, Sid, 3 games, and we said we're going to skip that. Because if we talk about that shit, you know what's going to happen.
This is it.
This team is just unbelievable.
I wonder how many people actually stayed in behind at final whistles to thank the players for a tremendous season that we've had this year. I wonder how many actually stayed.
I don't know, man. This is unbelievable, though. Well, we're getting that now. Anyway, that's it. Enough done. Pav, sometimes positive vibes, Pav. Thank you for being positive as much as you can do. I'm going to change my name to something else soon as well. I don't know what it's going to be. Sam Spurs, not quite for life, or something. Sam Spurs 3 life, or not 4 life, because, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to change something because I've had enough of this shit. I've had enough. People, it's time to go because I'm losing the plot. So thank you. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you put the comments in. We are out, if I can find the outro, which is this one.